All right. So last thing we're going to talk about on this one is solution stoichiometry and chemical analysis. So we're going to talk about solution stoich. All right. And this is where we actually get to have chemical reactions happen and talk about and figure out how we can use chemical reactions and the concentration of the pieces involved in it to actually see and do some useful stuff in our chemistry classes. And so this is stuff we're going to do in lab too. Okay? Now, remember, molarity is equal to moles divided by liters of solution. Okay? Now, awesome. We're going to use that. But what I want you to remember, and a key factoid here, is that we need to use moles to moles from a balanced equation to go from reactant to reactant or reactant to product. Okay? And so we got to have a balanced chemical equation before we can do this next part. So, all right. And so with that, here's the question that we're going to work on. Okay? And so how many grams of calcium hydroxide, CaOH2, are needed to neutralize 25.0 milliliters of 0.100 molar NHO3. So that is our question. Okay? And sorry, that's hard to see. I'll switch pens here in just a second. All right? So, how many grams of calcium hydroxide are needed to neutralize 25.0 milliliters of a 0.10 molar nitric acid solution? Okay? So, let's get a chemical equation, and we'll get our relevant variables, and we'll start the math and make sure that we figure out what's going on. So, here we go. Okay, so here's our chemical equation. All right, so we have nitric acid, HNO3, plus calcium hydroxide, CaOH2. All right, so acid, base, we're going to make water, H2O. I'm going to write it as HOH. And we're going to make a salt. The salt that we will make will be calcium and nitrate combined. That's a +2 charge, that's a -1. So that'll be calcium, NO3, 2. Okay? Now, let's balance this monstrosity. Well, I'm going to start with nitrate. I know I need a doubler here. 2 nitrate, 2 hydrogen bound up in here. So that's going to make 2 water molecules. So I have 2 hydroxides, 2 hydroxides. So that's balanced. So we're good. Okay. Well, what do I know? I know that HNO3, I know that I have 0.100 molar, and I have 25 milliliters. And my question is how many grams of that do I need to make sure that I'm neutralizing this out and using it up? Okay. Well, so in the end, I have to end with grams of calcium hydroxide. So here we go. So let's start with what we know. We know that I have a molarity and I know that I have a volume. Okay. Now, molarity is moles per liter. So I'm going to write this as 0.100 moles of HNO3 over 1 liter of HNO3. All right, now, I have a specific volume of HNO3. Let's convert that to liters. So We convert that to liters, so we move our decimal place 3 to the left. So this is going to be 0.0250 liters of HNO3. And I'm just going to put that over 1. So now liters are gone. I'm in moles of HNO3. Okay? These numbers, these stoichiometric equivalences, 2 to 1 to 2 to 1, are essentially in moles. Okay? And so for every 2 moles of HNO3 that I react, I'm going to use 1 mole of calcium hydroxide. Okay? So moles of that are gone. Now I'm in moles of calcium hydroxide. The last step that I need to do is I need to get from moles of calcium hydroxide to grams of calcium hydroxide. We do that with your friend and mine, the Ultimate Party Planning Guide, the periodic table. We figure out calcium's mass and we figure out 2 hydroxide's mass. It's going to be somewhere in the neighborhood. So 1 mole of CaOH2. It's going to be in the neighborhood of 74. When I add it up on your friend and mine, the Ultimate Party Planning Guide, I get 74.0927 grams of CaOH2. Okay, so moles are gone. Moles are gone. I'm in units of grams of calcium hydroxide, which is what I wanted. So 0.1 times 0.025 times 1 times 74. Divide that by 1 times 2 times 1. The number that I get after this is all said and done is I get 0.0926 grams of calcium hydroxide. And that is not a lot of that stuff. That's a pretty small quantity. But that's what I got when we calculated it out. So that's an example of how we can take molarity to end up with grams of a solid of something else. Okay? So that's how that plays out. Now, there's all kinds of different examples like that. I could do another example, but we're going to do some in class, and so I want to save a couple of those examples to work through with you guys in class so that I know that you're seeing it and doing it, and I can watch you do it as well. So with that, this one was a short one. So cool. See you soon. Bye.